Hello, this is Julie from Crochet and Create by Grandma J Bug. I am going to read a children's story today from Storytime, Great Stories That Build Character. And I'm going to start with the first one. It's called the Cooperville Secret Society. Kindness to animals, courage, and good judgment are the things that are taught in this story. So hopefully you have your kids gathered around, your children, and I can read this story to them. If you don't have them here yet, pause and go and get them. This is Cooperville Secret Society. Chapter 1. Michael pounced on his friend the minute he stepped into the yard. "Hi, Jason," he said. "You got my thumping like the big bass drum in the school marching band." This was the day he had been waiting for, the day he might become a member of the Cooperville Secret Society. The Cooperville Secret Society was a special club, and only the most popular guys in the school were members. A person couldn't just join the Cooperville Secret Society. He had to be invited to join by someone who was already a member. The club did cool things together. They went camping and had a special clubhouse. More than anything, Michael wanted to belong to the club. His friend Jason was a member, and the club had finally asked Michael to join. But first, he had to pass a test that the members of the club had decided on. If he was successful, he would be a member in good standing. Jason leaned against the garage wall and grinned at Michael. "Yeah," he answered, "we have your test ready. But let me give you a word of advice. Use your head, Michael. The test isn't as easy as it sounds." "See that basket?" Jason asked, pointing to a picnic basket swinging from the handlebars of his bike. "We're going to Mrs. Barker's house down the street. You are to catch her cat, Tiger, and put him in the basket. Then take him out to the edge of town on Willow Road and dump him out there." "Dump the cat?" Michael asked. He thought he had heard wrong. "Didn't you hear me?" Jason frowned at him. "What did you think you'd dump? The basket? You've heard the saying, a cat always finds its way back, haven't you? Well, we want to prove it one way or the other today." As Jason and Michael pedaled their bikes down the street, to Mrs. Barker's house, Michael felt as if he were having a bad dream. For the last 2 days he had tried to imagine what tests the guys would think of for him to do, but he hadn't thought of anything like this. He thought maybe they would ask him to climb high up in the tallest tree in town, or maybe have him do 100 push-ups. That was the sort of thing he was expecting. But to dump a cat out at the edge of town A long way from home? Outside the neat white fence that enclosed Mrs. Barker's yard, Jason stopped his bike and shoved the basket into Michael's hands. "Go on," he ordered. "You're on your own now." With dragging feet, Michael crept along behind the tall bushes and shut off the view from anyone in the house. When he reached the last bush, he was still several feet from the small striped kitten. Tiger was curled up in a ball under a big rose bush. "Here, kitty, kitty," Michael called softly. In his heart, he was hoping the kitten would run away. But Tiger opened his eyes, pricked up his sharp ears, and stared at Michael. With eyes as yellow as roses on the bush over his head, he must have liked what he saw, because he got up, stretched, and began walking across the grass toward Michael. Michael wiped the sweat from his forehead. His stomach felt sick. This little kitten would never find its way home from Willow Road. Never. But if he failed his test, the Cooperville secret society would ask someone else to join the club. He wouldn't get to go camping with them next summer. He wouldn't get to play in their clubhouse and a big tree house in Jason's backyard. Michael's thoughts raced around and around like the horses on a merry-go-round. He glanced back where Jason was standing, watching him. With a quick grab, Michael picked up Tiger and popped him into the basket. "Shame on you," a little voice seemed to say. "That kitten trusted you." It was terribly still and quiet in the basket. Could Tiger have smothered already? Michael put his ear to the side of the basket and listened. What he heard made him feel even worse. The kitten was purring happily. "Come on, hurry up," Jason urged impatiently. Michael didn't even answer. Instead, he lifted the lid of the basket and set Tiger gently on the grass. "I'd never have any fun with the club." Remembering what I had done to you, he told the kitten quietly. Slowly he walked back along the row of bushes to where Jason stood. What a day this had turned out to be. "Why did you take the cat out of the basket?" Jason demanded, with a strange smile on his face. Michael's face turned red with anger. "Because I don't treat animals that way," he shouted. "I don't care if I did fail your old test. I don't want to belong to a club with guys like that in it." "Way to go, Michael," Jason said, slapping him on the back. And suddenly they were all there. All the members of the Cooperville Secret Society came tumbling out from behind Mrs. Barker's garage, where they had been hiding. "We knew you'd pass the test," they told Michael. What's going on?" Michael asked. "I failed the test, didn't I?" "No, you passed with flying colors," Jason told him. "If you'd taken the kitten out to Willow Road, then you'd have failed. Don't you remember me telling you to be sure to use your head?" "So you didn't really want me to dump Tiger?" Michael still couldn't quite understand what was going on. "Of course not," Jason said. "If you had taken the cat out of the yard, I'd have taken him away from you and told you that you'd failed the test. Michael smiled slowly into the faces of the guys surrounding him. He felt good. His friends were the kind of guys he had thought they were all along. And he had passed the test. It was going to be great being a member of the Cooperville secret society. Now, there are a couple of think about it questions. Sometimes the right thing to do seems to be the wrong thing. How can we know the difference? And the other one is, what is the most difficult decision you've ever had to make? Now, kids, talk with your parents or guardians about these questions. And talk with your parents about these questions so that you can learn more about kindness to animals, courage, and good judgment. Now, chapter 2 story on Wednesday will be When God Controlled a Railroad Train. So, until then, may God bless you. Have a great rest of the day or night, and please be good to each other out there and use good judgment. Let's see, good judgment. Have courage to make the right decision and be kind to animals.